Hey geeks, this is the officially unofficial Geek Weekly Comic Roundup. This time we're going to do it full-on spoiler edition. Full-on spoilers because it is Sunday night, and if you have not read your comics by now, you are behind like I am on so many, and that's okay. But just take a look at the description. If you have not read any of those comics that we're going to be talking about that are listed down below, please go read your comics, come back to the video later. Unless you don't mind spoilers, which by all means keep watching because we're going to go for it. So this is the weekly comic roundup. Sorry guys, I was not here. Well, I was here. But I wasn't in your computers and your smartphones last week. You know, shit happens, guys. Sorry. Oh well. But you know, I'm getting here. I'm here. If you follow us on Facebook, you will see that I did a little post a few days ago that was basically my rundown of the books that I did read. It's not like I stopped reading comics. I just didn't do the video last week. So you can get a quick little rundown of the comics and whether I liked them or not, with a little bit of comment with each one. So, alrighty, guys. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and we are going to get into the comics. Again, spoiler edition. I just going to do it. Yeah. Because, fuck. Anyways. First on the list we're going to talk about Suicide Squad. Almost forgot how to talk there. Suicide Squad number 8. Yeah, so Waller's wanted by the law and out of control, but Rick Flag is still on her tail. She sent a squad to Hell and to the Green. Well, if you remember, she sent a squad to the Green because she wanted Swamp Thing. Well, you know, that seems pretty, you know, ambitious of her. She wants Swamp Thing? Really? Okay, so basically, she sent a squad to the Green to pick up Swamp Thing. That included Peacemaker, and a number of other ones. They were trying to get him to kind of semi-disconnect from the Green and come back with them. Didn't work. We'll get to that in a second. But she also sent a team, including Ambush Bug, Noctura, and a few other individuals to Hell. Just went to Hell, you know. Just okay, guys. We're gonna go and we're gonna take a little field trip. Make sure your permission slips are signed because we're going to Hades. Anyways, so she sent a entire team to Hell to basically bring back other Suicide Squad members that had died. So in the case of doing that, in the course of doing this, Calabria, she got killed, unfortunately, but never fear, because even though she got killed in Hell and went to Hell, Waller included her in the list of, you know, characters that were coming back from Hell. So here's the thing. She is dead, but she's not dead, undead, but she's not a zombie, but she has to, if she doesn't want to die, she's not indebted, excuse me, that's the wrong phrase to use, but if she doesn't want to die, basically she has to have access to this material that only Waller has access to. Damn bitch is out of control here, okay? So she's so out of control. She is wanted by the law. People within her ranks are, you know, entertaining the idea of going against her and betraying her. Talon is still acting like he's a special kind of crazy outside of the normal crazy. And what is actually going on is Talon is supposedly working with Rick Flag, which, let's since we brought up Rick Flag, let's go back to the Green, where Peacemaker is by himself, and oh, by the way, the Swamp Thing does him a solid in the Swamp Thing issue that was just last week. Was it last week? All the weeks are kind of molding together. Okay, so like this month's Swamp Thing might have been a little bit earlier in the month, okay, but this week's Swamp Thing, basically Peacemaker. Well, okay, so Levi, Swamp Thing, does Peacemaker a solid and removes the explosive device in the back of his neck and his spine. At the base of his skull. Yeah. That one that, makes Waller think that she can be God to everyone. That one. Yeah. Removes it. Just removes it from his neck, and he's all like free and clear. And, Peacemaker sitting there like, what I do now? Like, I'm here. What I do. So, we got a nice little cliffhanger at the end of the episode, excuse me. Nice little cliffhanger at the end of the issue where Rick Flag and a number of other cohorts have come across Peacemaker, and he's like, you know what? You know who you are? You're part of the Suicide Squad. So, we have a couple different fractions of the Suicide Squad. Okay, cool. If somebody could just kill Waller, that would make this all be over. But no, she lives to terrorize another day. I don't even know. Like I'm not even sure whether I liked this issue or I didn't. There were elements about it that were good. All the stuff involving Talon and stuff involving Rick Flag, I enjoyed that stuff. I just, I guess maybe I have to grasp the concept that Amanda Waller, I am meant to hate her. And that's kind of hard for someone, when they're reading comics. Yes, I am meant to hate Amanda Waller. Okay. Cool. Because I do. She sucks. Anyway, moving on. We are going to talk about Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 4. Okay, so if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know that I just posted a short, #short, the other day explaining the concept of post-human, which comes up in Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 4. So it's the more special social conscious Superman. If you thought he was already social conscious enough, you haven't seen nothing yet. John is truly there to fight injustice wherever, and that has put him on everyone he loves in the crosshairs of the tyrannical government, the government of Gomorrah, which he has met his friend Jay. Yeah, okay, so like seriously, this asshole. Okay. So the whole concept of post-human comes up, where we have a situation where John is noticed that the house is about ready to explode, right? Due to the fact that a post-human person is just basically going to be dropped like a bomb into the home from a plane or a helicopter. Is it a plane? Either way, it's flying above, and they're going to drop her to basically blow up the house and kill everyone in it. But John, because he's now Superman, is he's on to that. And so he starts quickly grabbing everyone. And he realizes after he grabs his grandparents, because it's his grandparents, him, and his friend Jay that are there. After he grabs his grandparents and he goes to grab his friend, he realizes he can't grab onto his friend because his hands just kind of go through his friend. And he realizes, well, there's mass there. But he makes the comment that he's like, wow, this guy is post-human. So, if you do not know what post-human is, I urge you to go and check out my shorts video, what the Geek Informs. It tells you a little bit about the definition of what post-human is and the difference between being a post-human and a meta-human. So check that out. It's only a minute long. It's not going to take you that long. But so you have Superman meeting up with some of Jay's friends to kind of discuss what's been going on. Like, all these people have been tested on and had their DNA supposedly probably altered by this president of Gomorrah. And so John decides he is going to go and basically just, face the president in Gomorrah. He just, hops to it and goes over there. Like, what are the balls on that guy, man? So look at the balls on Superman. So yeah, he goes there, and while he's there, he does get kind of attacked by the president, and that's kind of where it leaves off. So we're gonna have to wait until next month, and next month is actually the month that if you're kept up with the news, next month is the month where we basically get bisexual Superman. So we'll get our answers next month, and we get bisexual Superman. So if you haven't heard about that, like, seriously, get out from underneath the rock. Because everybody out there has an opinion on this one. There are literal politicians that do not understand anything about comic books misspelling Lois Lane's name. So, yeah, look into it. Look into it. You are missing it if you haven't. It's quite entertaining. Pop some popcorn, maybe have some like gummy bears or something like in a drink. It'll be like a movie. So the next one I'm going to talk to you guys about is Nubia and the Amazons. It's a limited series, and this is issue 1. It's the prelude to the trial of the Amazons, and if you watch DC fandom like myself, you also know a little bit, if you didn't fall asleep during that part. It was a long thing. It was like 4 hours, guys. I stayed awake during the whole thing, not to brag, but Nubia and the Amazons issue 1 is a prelude to the trial of the Amazons series coming soon to DC. Basically, Wonder Woman is getting an event. Wonder Woman is finally getting an event, hasn't had one in a while, and she's getting one. It's usually all about Batman, but you know what? We've got a Wonder Woman event coming, Trial of the Amazons. I know everybody's just mostly tired of events, but at least it's a little bit different, and it's Wonder Woman instead of Batman. Speaking of which, nice segue to Batman Secret Files Peacekeeper 1. Okay, so the thing that, and it's a Fear State tie-in, obviously, because it's Peacekeeper 1. So with these Batman Secret File issues, you're either getting an origin story, or you're getting a special little segue into their current story. So this actually is one of those moments where it's a little of both. So what you do is you do have the history of corruption in the GCPD. Obviously we all know runs pretty deep, and it runs pretty deep in Peacekeeper 1's family. You get a lot of the history involving that. You get history involving his grandfather, his great-great-grandfather, his great-grandfather, his grandfather, his father. They all, with the exception of the great-great-grandfather, the great-great-grandfather died because he was working on a bridge that used shoddy supplies, and he died because of it. So that is actually pretty tragic. But um, after that, you have a long line of corrupt police officers in the family, the Mahoney family. And it gets to the point where you do have a lot of origin story here, but it's kind of mishmash in with the basically Peacekeeper 1's freak out after being dosed with fear toxin. It's more a more like extended version of that. You get to see more, and you get to see exactly what's going on. You get to see him not getting to be a part of the police department because of the corruption that his father and grandfather took part in. Um, yeah, and you get to see all of that stuff happening. You get to see him, you know, being as Harley Quinn had mentioned it prior to this, when she heard that he was Peacekeeper. She was like, yeah, he was a joke. He was pretty corrupt, as because he was a Arkham guard. He did get a job as an Arkham guard, and Harley had talked about how he was corrupt. Also, so like you get a moment actually while so Peacekeeper 1, Sean Mahoney, ends up at his father's bar because his father ends up opening a bar, right? And he ends up at his father's bar, and his father comes out, and Peacekeeper 1 just gives him the business. Like, you are a shithead. And Peacekeeper 1 is right. His father is a complete shithead, right? So, like, they end up in an argument, and it just, he keeps on going. He is freaking out, as if you've been keeping up with the fear state, he is freaking out, obviously, and he keeps on going. We all know where that's going. So, we all know that it's pretty fucking messed up. So what we have next to talk about is Batman 115. Okay. So these are the main the next this one, and then the two other ones that I'm going to talk about that are in main continuity. There is another one we're going to talk about that's not in continuity with DC, but I don't understand what is going. Why is this moving so at a glacier pace? At a glacier pace. Like, are we in the middle of the Ice Age when it comes to the Batman 115? I'm going to tell you something. The writers of Catwoman, the writers of Nightwing, other, subsequent Fear State tie-ins books, they seem to have gotten the assignment when it comes to writing an event book. The problem is we have this writer that is an Eisner Award-winning writer. I know he has it in him because, Joker War Saga, was fantastic. But I don't know what's going on here. So Batman, I know what's going on here. I read the book. Batman is working with Miracle Molly. Scarecrow is working on Peacekeeper 1. That's where that went. He is working on Peacekeeper 1 to try to make him better. And Queen Ivy, Queen Ivy is about ready to make this city her bitch because the end of the issue, you had a lot of peacekeepers actually invading her Eden. So here's the deal. Ivy. So she's more than one person right now. and the very angry, very powerful version of Ivy is underneath the city. Okay, so Poison Ivy has rebuilt Eden from the Joker War when Punchline and other people destroyed it. When Punchline attacked Batman and Harley in Eden and destroyed it. Okay, so she has rebuilt it. Eden exists under Gotham City. Well, everything is just growing so wild and so crazy. And, well, I mean, beautiful from the drawings, okay? Let's just be real. That if she really wanted to, she can basically no man's land type style level this city. Just piss her off enough, she's gonna level the city, okay? And you just had peacekeepers walk in, like, looking specifically, in part, for Poison Ivy. Except they're kind of looking for another part of Poison Ivy, not this serious, angry, woman on a mission, Ivy. They're looking for the docile, sweet, kind, gentle Ivy that exists in Alleytown right now, which we'll get to in a moment. But these peacekeepers have just walked in to probably an even worse war zone than they thought they have. Because, I mean, if you know anything about Poison Ivy, about Queen Ivy, excuse me, she is not one to be fucked with. So, good luck to them. / not good luck. I'm cheering on Ivy with this one. So let's segue, since we were just talking about the kinder, gentler Ivy, Pamela, in Alleytown. Let's go ahead and let's talk about Catwoman. Holy fuck Jesus. Catwoman, number 36. Oh my god. This one ties for issue of the week. This one right here. Like I said, Ram V is one of those writers that had his entire story that he was, the progression that he was telling had this entire story going with Father Valley and everything like that get interrupted because of an event. And let me tell you some fucking shit here. Ram V here understands the assignment. And basically what he's like, you know what works with Catwoman? You know what works? A motherfucking heist caper? Yes, we got another one here. We got another one. It's freaking awesome. God. Except this one includes my girl Harley. Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn. Okay, guys, seriously. If you've been reading the most recent books for Catwoman on the Ram V line, you know that a number of issues back, Catwoman pulled off a absolutely breathtaking caper heist issue, and it basically led her to acquiring and keeping safe for a number of issues with her strays in Alleytown an aspect of Poison Ivy. Okay? So like if you look at the cover, you see her right there. It's a full body Ivy, but it is like while Queen Ivy is angry and all that and spiteful, angry, spiteful, this Ivy is the sweet, kind, gentle Ivy. And Harley and the gardener have arrived in Alleytown because they would like to take sweet, kind, gentle Ivy and reintroduce her to the Queen Ivy that's angry and spiteful, and hopefully kind of get them to be what each other is missing, kind of thing. It's the plan that basically her and the Harley and the Gardener came up with a number of issues ago from Batman. So we have the okay. So the magistrate wants Ivy because Simon Saint wants Ivy, and he wants the Ivy that Catwoman has because they could manipulate her. And the Second Chance Squad, led by Clayface, is trying to hold them off while they need and it's not going well. They need a plan B, and that plan B shows up with the crack of a baseball bat, Harley Quinn and the Gardener. Plan B, yes, Plan B exists, and it's written on her baseball bat. Oh my god, the crack of a baseball bat comes their Plan B. So Catman, excuse me. Oh my god. Oh man. Catwoman, Harley, and the Gardener will take care of the magistrate and the White Witch, who has aligned with the magistrate. If you might remember her from a number of issues ago. While the rest, the Second Chance crew and her alley cats, sneak Ivy out the back. Do they succeed? Well, we're going to have to actually read on to find out if they do. But I love when Catwoman is doing, it's like a little voiceover kind of narrator type thing, and she's just like, you know what, they haven't, banked on one, that I'm not alone, and I have Plan B, and I have Harley Quinn, and I loved that moment. It was like, I have a Plan B, and I have Harley Quinn. As like, yeah, motherfucker, yes, you got Harley Quinn, yes. You guys know I love Harley, so that's no secret. But it is an absolutely wonderful issue. God, I can't even with it. It was absolutely wonderful. Rom V got the assignment, and you know who else did? Tom Taylor with Nightwing number 85. Hello. Okay, to kind of it makes up for this. 84 was still a good issue. Bear in mind here, 84 was a good issue, but it just seems so disconnected because it was like, okay, you have Nightwing doing all this really wonderful stuff in Bloodhaven, and all of a sudden he gets pulled away to go to Gotham because of Fear State, because that's how that shit works. Okay, so he's pulled away. Let me tell you, the real heroes of this Fear State event are the writers of Catwoman, Ron V, and Tom Taylor, and the Bat Family issues. Because let me tell you, Catwoman, fantastic. Nightwing, equally fantastic. It kind of flips it kind of flips everything around. Instead of making Dick Grayson Nightwing, the narrator, it makes Barbara Gordon, Batgirl Oracle, the narrator, so that we can take a moment to explain and move along this anti-Oracle story. Thank you. It moves along quite a bit here. Quite a bit. We see how the fear toxin affects Barbara, and then a familiar face comes to help, and basically what happens is Barbara and Dick are both experiencing the fear toxin, but because we have Barbara basically narrating the story and telling the story, we see what she sees. And what she sees is her biggest fear is losing Nightwing, is losing Dick Grayson, because right away Dick Grayson gets shot and killed in her fear-induced vision. And then when Anti-Oracle comes back into play, she's like, oh wow, that's actually kind of sweet, because your biggest fear both of you was losing each other. So apparently Nightwing was also dealing with the fact that his biggest fear was losing Barbara. And Tayoroko's like, if I didn't hate you people and wanted to kill you, I would think that was really sweet. Yeah, she does make that comment. And I thought that was kind of cool. Oh gosh, Red Robin, Tim Drake comes to help, gets them out of their fear toxin state. I'm just gonna, since this is the last fear state book I'm talking about this week, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The issue was great. Catwoman was great. Nightwing, great. But let me tell you something. I'm a little bit annoyed. Okay? A little bit annoyed. Not necessarily, not with the issue, not with Nightwing, not with Catwoman. Yes, I'm a little bit annoyed with Batman. But I'm going to tell you something. When they started putting this whole fear state thing out there and started talking about it in media, it was billed to us. We were told this event was going to involve very little actual fear toxin. And now, in my opinion, it seems to be used quite frequently. Scarecrow's using it. His accomplices are using it. And they're just kind of throwing around fear toxin like there was a sale at the Psychotic Chemist or Us. Like, we were told that this was going to involve very little fear toxin, and yet it's getting thrown around everywhere. I don't know. Maybe other people have a different opinion than that. I am seeing a lot more fear toxin than I expected to see, quite honest. Which is, it's okay. It's okay. If you can't deliver on that promise, that's fine. But tell us the story that makes us not worry about that so much. You're doing it, like DC is doing it with Catwoman, doing it with Nightwing this week. But they're not really doing it with Batman, and they haven't been really doing it with Batman. The major saving grace of Batman has been that art by Jorge Jimenez, in Detective Comics by Dan Mora. But okay, I'm gonna stop nicking. But I mean, really, like, did anyone else watching this video remember? Does anybody else watching this video remember how, when it first started coming out in the media about Fear State, that they were billing this as going to be one of those things where the Scarecrow was going to use very little fear toxin, and now it seems like you're seeing it all over the place. Anybody else feel the same way I do? Let me know in the comments. But one more issue that I am going to talk about today, and that would be the Black Label book, issue 1 of Catwoman Lonely City. This right here. Let me tell you something. This is a great book. This is going to be, I was watching some other YouTubers today talk about how they think that this is, and I totally agree with them, this is going to be one of those quintessential Catwoman stories that if you want to tell someone about Catwoman, you're going to be mentioning this story. So basically the premise is this. Catwoman has been in jail for a number of years, and she was in jail supposedly because they think on Fool's Day that she killed Batman, Commissioner Gordon, Dick Grayson, the list. Yeah, that's, they think she did that. They think she's responsible. So she ended up in jail. Now this world is all topsy-turvy, turn around. Oh my God, because she gets let out early. And you find out eventually there's a reason for that. She gets let out early, and the world has changed a bit. And Harvey Dent, yes, the Harvey Dent is Mayor. And no, he was Two-Face. Yeah, like that hasn't changed. And he is Mayor, and there's some really good work with time jumps here. And I'm going to tell you, there's another Black Label book, Batman Catwoman, is not good with time jumps. But this one, good with time jumps. Makes it very clear what you're reading and when you are reading. Like, there's some flashbacks. There's definitely a flashback of Catwoman on the day that Bruce dies. And she's there with him, and he is really messed up. And he's just like, I need you to get to the Batcave and get me Orpheus. So this is kind of like, it's kind of like Batman Bruce Wayne's like Rosebud here. It's like the last thing he says, he wants her to go get Orpheus from the Batcave. And then the police come, everybody comes, she ends up in jail, she's stuck there, and all she can think about is, I need to get to the Batcave, I need to find Orpheus. So when she gets out of jail, she starts this plan to try to find what she needs to get into the Batcave and find Orpheus. But the thing is, Catwoman is older now, and Catwoman, she's got problems with her knees. She's got all this other stuff going on, and so she's like, she's still Catwoman, she's still Selena Kyle, but it's like she's feeling the effects of being an older woman, being in her 50s. And I had to tell you, like, I just turned 40. I found out, like, I have this really bad arthritis in my ankle recently, like as recently as yesterday, and I've been having problems for a while. And to see that we still have a really cool Catwoman even when she has knee problems. I love it. Well, so yeah, Barbara Gordon is running against Harvey Dent to become mayor. You have a really touching moment involving, oh my god, Selena goes back to her penthouse, to her apartment, and she's about to take a shower, and she finds that her cat is still there. Monty is still there, which I am sure Monty has become quite the mouser in that time. Like, wow. But she has this moment with the cat, that kind of, kind of made me a little like, oh. And then she has this moment where she takes flowers to the grave of Bruce and Nightwing, Dick Grayson, and all them. And she's facing all these issues involving how society has progressed also, like since she went to jail, and how she can't just use regular money to buy a coffee at Starbucks. So there's different things like that. She meets up with Waylon, Killer Croc, and Croc is like, let's do something together. She's like, you know what we're gonna do? You're gonna help me break into the Batcave. And that's kind of, that's going to lead us into the next issue. I know it's going to be a couple months down the road, because we've got all these, waiting periods involving the comics because of paper shortages and everything like that. A lot of the DC Black Label books have been pushed back a lot. Like, we've got Suicide Squad Get Joker getting pushed back to January. This one, I believe, the next issue is going to be in December, if I was reading that correctly. But I'm here for it. I'm ready for it when it comes. So I gotta tell you, the 3 top issues of the week were Catwoman, Lonely City, Catwoman main title, and Nightwing. Those were the 3 really standout issues this week. I can't wait to get into next week's issues, because we have my girl Harley, we've got Detective Comics, we've got Robin, we've got The Long Halloween special is coming, guys. I'm so pumped for that one. I cannot wait, since I just recently read the Long Halloween original. And yeah, there's plenty of stuff coming out. Oh, guys, DC versus Vampires is coming next week. And Task Force Z, my boy Jason Todd. Yes. So many great books, so many wonderful books to put you in the Halloween spirit. DC versus Vampires is going to be a 12 issue. So it's like you get a little bit of Halloween every month this year, starting now. So that's gonna be really great. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. If you are an Arrow and Aquaman fan, you've got Deep Target coming out. It's an Aquaman and Green Arrow book. I'm not really into it all that much, but I'm sure other people are. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Make sure you're going to your local LCSs and letting them know. Get that pull list going. Get that pull list going, because you know what? Another thing that we found out recently, Image is not going to be doing second printings anymore. Starting very soon, no more second printings. So keep on top of that Image list. So if you want it, you got to put it on your list, guys. Make sure it ends up on your list, because you all know there's all kinds of different things that can happen in regards to that. So we got some really cool things coming out next week. Get on top of your Image pull list. Get on top of your pull list in general. Pull lists help comic book shops help you, because you get to read what you want to read. You get that stuff, and they get actual definite sales that they can put in their counters. So do it. Pull lists help you. Pull lists help comic book shops help you. Take that to the bank. Take that to the bank. Anyways, that's it for me this week. Thank you for joining me on this weekly comic book roundup spoiler vision journey. The spoiler vision. So keep safe, get out there, read. Have fun doing it. Visit your local LCS. Get that pull list going. And keep reading, because life sucks. Read a book. I'll be seeing you guys soon. And bye.